Happy Hump Day, everyone. It's time for my daddy's podcast.
Welcome back to the Lessons for Success podcast. I'm your host, Adam Wardlaw, a middle school science teacher and a high school football coach in South Carolina. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast heard by over 2,000 students, teachers, and coaches worldwide. The goal is to provide quick daily lessons to help you achieve more in your life. Be sure to reach out to the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and now TikTok by searching L4S Show or using the hashtag L4S Show. Remember, it's the number 4. If you're listening on an iPhone, be sure to give the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts in order to keep our community growing. Now let's start the show. The best way to guarantee a loss is to quit. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman has possibly one of the most recognizable voices in pop culture, but this quote that he shared a while back is the focus of today's episode. Welcome back, everyone. It's Hump Day, which means it's time for Wednesday Wisdom here on the Lessons for Success show. Morgan Freeman's career includes roles in at least 94 movies. The actor is known for his trademark voice that is often served in narrator roles because of the connotation his voice brings. Perhaps his greatest advice came when he shared these words of wisdom. The best way to guarantee a loss is to quit. So what's the meaning behind this quote? I think it's pretty obvious that what Mr. Freeman is stressing is that the one surefire method of not achieving your goals or succeeding at your craft is to give up. This can come in a variety of forms, from the most trivial to the most serious and life-changing. Perhaps you're wanting to win a pickup game at the Y, but after realizing the team you're on doesn't stand a chance, you call it quits and exit the gym. Or in a more serious context, you may be passionate about starting your own business, but when the first wave of adversity hits, you decide it would be best to keep doing the same old job that you despise. The only way you'll know for sure that you can accomplish something is if you don't even try. There's a reason they play the game in sports, even if one team is heavily favored over another. That's because one team must prove that they want the victory on the field of play. This translates to the game of life as well. While it may appear as though others have advantages and the odds may be against certain people in the world, the contest must still be decided by letting people play it out. Those that truly want to achieve their dreams will do whatever it takes for however long it takes, and the pretenders will be the ones to give up. If there's anything you gather from listening to the show, I hope it's the concept that's illustrated in Mr. Freeman's words. Never give up. That's not going to solve anything. Always put your best foot forward, even when the deck is stacked against you. In the words of Morgan Freeman, the best way to guarantee a loss is to quit. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Lessons for Success podcast. What'd you think of today's episode? Let me know by getting in touch with the show on our social media channels. Talk to y'all tomorrow on the next episode of the L4S Show.
Time for a quick commercial.
That's right, Ellie. This episode is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. And they'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. To get started, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm today. Well, folks, that's it for another edition of the Lessons for Success podcast. Thank you for listening. Remember that you can keep up with the show wherever podcasts are found, as well as the newly updated Lessons for Success YouTube channel. Be sure to follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok to keep up with more content from the show. If you haven't already done so, give the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. That's all the time I have for today. Be sure to tune in for the next episode of the Lessons for Success show.